Bismillah, walhamdulillah, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Khadija and I'm super excited to host you all this evening. I would just like to quickly apologize for the delay. We had a few technical difficulties, but alhamdulillah, qadar Allah. So without further ado, welcome to our second evening of our virtual pop-up WOW, Wellness of Women Retreat. We are so excited to have you all join us. The theme of this session is worship and your wow factor. As we all know, it is important to understand the relationship between our well-being and our connection to our Creator. We are hoping that this session can give us an overall understanding of this connection and how to take the practical steps to strengthen this connection. We are absolutely honored to have with us this evening Sister Haifaa Younis. She will be sharing her unique insights on our topic of wellness and worship. Before we get started, inshallah, I'd encourage everyone watching to share and like the stream, as well as post any comments or questions in the Facebook comment section. Inshallah, we will do our best to share them at the end of the talk. To begin, I'd like to share a little bit about Sister Haifaa Younis. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, she has an extensive and impressive background. Sister Haifaa Younis is an American board certified obstetrician and gynecologist. She is also a graduate of Mecca Institute of Islamic Studies, along with a graduate of Al-Huda Quran Memorization School in Jeddah. She is most notably the founder and chairwoman of Jannah Institute, an Islamic education institute for women by women, where she teaches classes and seminars on the thematic commentary of various chapters of the Holy Quran and their practical relevance in our day-to-day living. Additionally, she offers retreats on key topics that inspire our hearts and the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are so blessed to have such a distinguished guest to cover this important topic. Please join me in welcoming Sister Haifaa. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. جزاك الله خير for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you all. It really gives me a great happiness, deep happiness to see all these young Muslims in everywhere working hard to not only to practice their deen, to learn their deen, but also to spread the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And more importantly, is to tackle I wouldn't say the real issues, but to tackle an important issues that we see it on daily basis. Maybe you don't see it spoken publicly a lot about, but issues that it is especially important for the woman, or at least it affects women more because of the nature of what the woman do in general. So Jazakumullah khair, it's really nice, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And I would love, welcome to all the viewers, and I always ask this when we do live online, is to share where are you joining us from. It will be very good for us to all know where are you all from, background, and it brings us closer to each other. Like in our Tuesday night program, which we do it actually every Tuesday, we have a program 7 to 8 Central Time in the United States, and then we get people from all over the world, which is really nice when you see somebody in Indonesia and the other person in Australia, and somebody is in Canada but in Vancouver, the other person is in New York, and the Arab world, in the Middle East. The idea is that remind us all of the beauty of this deen, that it is, subhanAllah, it is it's unique. This is how I will say it. It's unique for the Muslims, or actually it is unique for Islam, that you see people from all over the world and they still have the same thing connect them. And of course, there's a little bit differences, but the differences are not in the religion itself. So this is why it's really nice to know more people from different background, different culture, even different ages, because it's every age, every experience give you a different perspective. So Jazakumullah khair. And again, it's really nice to have this. And the name of the program is Wow. And so, inshallah, it is wow, ya Rabbi Hameen. So when I first read this, like, wow, is there a mistake here? And then I was like, of course, it's the woman wellness. So what I want to start talking about is what is wellness? Because there's a couple of terms these days, we hear them a lot. Like 10 years ago, we didn't hear that, or 5 years ago, actually, we didn't hear that. We hear wellness, we hear many other ones, but let's focus on wellness since this is our subject for today. So what is wellness? And first thing I always, when I want to understand anything, the first thing I always want to do is I want to understand the concept, meaning, what does it mean? So feeling good, but that's not the right definition, because feeling good, it can be temporary, and feeling good can be brought by certain things that may be not really good for me, but will bring me this feeling. So what is wellness for us in general as women? And then I will take, of course, as a Muslim. So when you look up at the definition of wellness, so go to the basics, it's basically overall life satisfaction. Overall life satisfaction. So simply, you are satisfied with what you have. And I need everyone listening to me to pay attention to this, because that's a huge problem these days. So I am satisfied and I am happy with the way I look, without anything. Number one, I am happy and satisfied where I live. I'm happy and satisfied with my name, my skin color, my education. I'm satisfied. Yes, there is a lot of people are probably much better than I am by our dunya characters, but I am happy. So wellness, I feel good when I am happy. But wellness is when it is a lifetime experience. So throughout my life, I am happy. So when somebody asks you, how are you doing, Ya Khadija? Your answer, if you are living in wellness, you are always immediately, naturally, subhanAllah, comes Alhamdulillah. Never been better. That doesn't mean you're lying, a'udhu billah, and doesn't mean you're always good, but you are living in a state internally that you transfer or translate everything external, and you look translated to this statement. It is good for me. It is khair, as we say. And why now we come as Muslim? Because this is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, period. So wellness is not something I do it. It is not something you do it. It is not changes temporary. So I go and, for example, color my hair, right? I feel good, but after a week or two, I'm bored. I go and do something else, right? I travel. I'm so excited. I'm going to go for vacation. Okay. And then I am very happy. I come back. I am super elated. And I start talking to everybody about my trip. And I post all these pictures. And then after a month, when you look at the pictures, after a year or two, it's like, oh, okay, that was nice. But then you're bored. You look for something else. That's not wellness. That's temporary. So wellness is a lifetime satisfaction. I'm satisfied. I'm fine. You don't have to convince me. You don't have to talk to me. I don't have to take medication. I don't have to go and talk to this. That doesn't mean I'm talking about the reality, what it is, but not everybody there. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And remember this, that I can be feeling my wellness, but then maybe a week or two, there'll be a time, or maybe in my day, in a time where I don't feel I am in the same level, or I'm in the same feeling. Something changed. And I'll come to this. So let's go first. And what is wellness? So I am life satisfaction. Satisfied with what? And if you look at us human beings, it's basically physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and it is what I have in life. So you have physical, you have mental, you have, of course, health, emotional, spiritual, don't forget that, social, economic, occupation, and environmental. All this is wellness. I am very happy the way I look. I'm very happy where is my mindset now, and satisfied, meaning I don't want to change it. I want this to stay. And again, it is lifetime. I am happy the way I feel, emotional, spiritual, my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, happy, satisfied. I don't want it to change. This is perfect. Social, where I am, which part of the society I am, which place I live in, right? Where do I fit? I'm happy because a lot of these, especially physical, and some or part of my life, economic, and part of my life is occupation. I don't have a lot of control over it to start with. Things can change, but in general. And then even environmental. Like I'm so happy, and this is something just for all of you. Alhamdulillah, I travel a lot after the COVID. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So sometimes I am in a place in the United States where it is very cold. And then after a week or two, I go to a place which is beautiful weather. So I always, when I go to a very cold place, and I always ask people, I was like, how can you live here? And I had a young lady, subhanAllah, and she said, I will never change this. I don't want to go to anywhere else. That's wellness. And I said, but the temperature, and this is me telling her, but the temperature gets minus 30 in the winter. She says, I love it. That's wellness. You're happy, you're satisfied, you love it, and you don't want to change it. And this is all comes from, connected to one source only. Now we are coming to talk as Muslims. There is no way, no human being, you are always happy and satisfied with what you have, always, lifetime, unless, and this is what I need everyone to take from this talk. If you took only this statement, I'm going to say, you've learned a lot. The only reason that I am happy and satisfied with whatever I am right now, because it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Not because I like it. Not because everybody else has it. Not because that's the norm. Not because this is my dream and I always worked for it. That's all what you hear from people. But the spiritually connected person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, immediate response is absolutely, I'm happy. It came from Allah. And that explained to you all how sometimes you hear, you read, and sometimes you see people are being tested. Subhanallah. And when you ask them, they say, Alhamdulillah. And they smile. And you say, how can this be? Because they are connected. Connection, wellness, lifetime, lifelong, day long, year long, as long as I'm alive, my wellness will always be there as long as I am connected to the source of wellness. And who is the source of wellness? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm going to connect you with the Quran, because unless we get connected with the source, with the word of the Creator, with the word of the one who will give me wellness, then I may have my doubts. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this verse. It's in Surah Al-Nahl, the bees. And the statement that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in that verse, it's actually, we call it in Arabic, جملة شرطية. There is a condition here. You do this, you get this. That's a very common in the Quran, and it's very common in the Arabic language. You do this, you get this. And actually, even in life, you study, you're supposed to pass. You exercise, you'll stay healthy. So what did Allah says related to wellness? He said, Subhanah, and I'll say it in Arabic, and I'll translate بإذن الله. من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن الذي كانوا يعملون. Let's translate. من عمل صالحا. Whomsoever does a good deed. That's the first condition. من عمل صالحا. Now, من ذكر أو أنثى. Man or a woman. No difference. وهو مؤمن. That's the requirement. That he or she, you and me, your family, people you know, I need to do a good deed, but I have to be a believer. وهو مؤمن. You believe. You believe there's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You believe there's a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. You believe there's akhirah. You believe there's angels. You believe there's books. You believe all the pillars of Iman. What will happen? So the first condition, the requirement, and then the result. So what is the requirement? I need to do a good deed, and I'll come to this in a second. Man or a woman, no difference. And I am a believer. What will I get? Look at this one. فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. For those of you who know Arabic, probably you will understand what I'm going to be saying. For those of you who doesn't understand Arabic, when you see fa, the letter fa in Arabic, in English, they usually translate then. In Arabic, there's a difference. Fa means immediately. Something is going to happen immediately. Immediately. Time, very quick. I do a good deed, man or a woman. I am a believer. Fa, immediately. What will happen to me, Allah? La, lam al-tawqid. This is a letter that Allah used, or the Arabs use. Allah, of course, taught us in the Quran to stress the point. Harf tawqid. Fa, la, nuhyiyannahu. We will make him or her live hayatan tayyibah. Pure, good, beautiful life here. And we Muslims, we believe in two. So here I'm going to have a good life, and I'm going to comment on what is this good life. وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ. Same thing. And we will, with the stress, the letter to stress the point, we will reward them for what they did with a better reward. Look it up. It's in Surah An-Nahl. I don't have the number of the verse. It's like in the middle of Surah An-Nahl, the bees. So let's look at the second part, because the second part is what we are talking about, is the wellness. I need to feel good. I want to have lifetime. My health, my emotions, my connections with Allah, my being happy with my surroundings. What do I need to do? I need to do a good deeds. Man amila salihan. And Allah left it open. He didn't say what it is. But it is action. Do. It's not saying. It's not claim. I need to do. I need to work. So what is salih? What is good deed? That's the $1 million question in this verse. Because the result is clear. نُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We will make him live beautiful, good, happy life. Happy life by Allah's standard. And happy life by my standard as a practicing good Muslim. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do? I need to do good deeds. So what is good deeds? And we, subhanAllah, we may need to revisit what is a good deed, because the moment I say good deed, many people immediately will think what? Okay, I pray, alhamdulillah, I put my hijab, alhamdulillah, I fast Ramadan, alhamdulillah, what is the big deal? So here I am, why I'm not living a good life? Because we have narrowed it so small. The good deed. The good deed, you define, you divide them to make you live it practically. It is me, with me. It is me with my creator, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is me with other people. Good deeds are related to these three factors. So you're probably going to say, and again, feel free to ask questions, put it on the chat, and I would be more than happy. It's a pleasure to actually get you connected, interactive. So what is a good deed for myself? What is a good deed for myself? You know what is a good deed for yourself? When you exercise. I was like, what? Yes. Because when you see what everybody tells you when you do wellness, everyone, there's clinics. I'm a physician. There's a clinic called wellness clinic. What do they tell you? Eat healthy, right? And exercise, and you're going to feel much better. طيب. Come on in. Is that a good deed? Of course. Why? Because every deed you do, every action, let's not use the word deed, because once we say deed, we think of Islamic. Any action you do, anything you do in your life, there has to be two reasons. Always. Why and how. Why and how. Why I am speaking today and how I am speaking. Right? Why do I want to go to medical school? And how I will go to medical school. This is actually, just for you to know, the essence for any deed with Allah to be accepted. He's going to look at these two. You have to do everything for Allah. That's the why. And how? According to what He said, subhanah, and what the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam taught me. Then your deeds are valid and Allah will reward me. So let's go back again to myself. Exercising, eating healthy, sleeping a good amount of sleep, especially in the night. Now I'm speaking as physician. Now you're going to get the hats back and forth. It's all together. When I am eating healthy, is that a good deed? I would love for somebody to say yes or no.
Yes.
Right? Meaning good deed Islamically, I will be rewarded. Yes, exactly. Who said so? That's usual question.
Because
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. Ya ayyuha an-nas, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. People, Allah said this in Surah Al-Baqarah. People, mankind, eat from, Ya ayyuha an-nas, kulu mimma fil ardi. Eat from what's on this earth, but two things. Halalan tayyiba. Halal, lawful, and tayyib, pure, healthy. Does not ruin my body. So when I keep eating fried food, it's yummy, it's easy, and it's usually not expensive. It is not tayyib because it's not healthy for my body. Now, change why you do things and how you do things and make it an act of worship. And these will pile up in this here with Allah, and He will reward me in this life by making me feel good and well. So food and exercise. Why? You go and do weight and cross-body training. Why? Because المؤمن القوي خير من المؤمن الضعيف وفي كل خير. The strong believer, that's a hadith of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. That's not my words. The strong believer is better than the weak believer. But in both, there is goodness. So everybody, alhamdulillah, the fact we are good, the fact we are Muslim, there's good in us. Alhamdulillah, believer, not only Muslim, but believer. But the strong believer And the strong here, scholars, will teach you physical and emotional and spiritual. So when I exercise and I feel good for sure, physically, yes, medically, yes, because endorphins will be released from the body, from the brain. And endorphins is what makes us feel good. But my niyyah now, because I want to change this to a good deed. So I'm going out to exercise. That's a good deed? Yes. Two things. Why you are doing it and how you are doing it. So why I am doing it, Ya Rabbi, I'm taking care of this amana, this trust that you put in me, and the strong believer better than the weak believer. Perfect. Number two, how are you doing it? What are you wearing? What's your dress code? How you are doing it. So if you tell me I am going to be swimming on the beach because swimming is really a good exercise, which is absolutely it is, then I'm going to tell you, you know what? I can't say this is ibadah. Did you get my point? Am I clear, Ya Khadija? Yeah, because I don't see the audience. I normally love to see the audience and interact with them. But this is what I need you all to start thinking, is why and how. And they are both has to be connected. And you apply this in my relationship with myself, including the food, including the sleep. Because if I am tired, I cannot worship Allah. I cannot study well. I'm talking about myself. Even if I'm exhausted, even my care to my patients is not the same. So wellness, physical, because we are all it's a basket. This is how I want you to remember, practical. It's a basket. Label the basket, al-amalu salih. Label the basket, good deed. And don't think of it of the limited one. Oh, I prayed, then I'm going to put one. Of course, it's a good deed. But there is a lot of other things we do in our daily life. We don't look at it as a good deed. So your relationship with yourself, these three. And of course, healthy food, meaning when I put unhealthy food, I am not doing that. When I am not sleeping enough, I'm not doing that. Part of what I'll bring it to my relationship with Allah. So that's the second thing now. Me with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spiritually, with my creator. What do I need to do in this part? Remember, it's 3 parts. So me with my creator, me with the people around me, everybody around me. So let's take it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Good deed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be clearer. Basically, everything He told me do, I'll do. Everything He told me don't do. And you're done. Easy said. Right, Ya Khadija? Very easy. Of course. Come and practice it daily. Let's get together, woman, and let's not backbite. And this woman, you really don't like her. She really hurted you. Or she really did something not nice to you. And you're going to control your tongue. And you're not going to say anything. Because that's not a good deed with Allah. And I want to live well. I want to live well in my life. Remember this principle. It's actually Islamic principle, spiritual principle. Every good deed brings a good deed. And every sin results in another sin. Remember this. Someone watched something not halal, not pleasing to Allah. The result of this, and I'm just giving examples, doesn't mean this is going to happen, but the example, but connected. Learn to connect. Learn to connect. Nothing happens for no reason. Things happen for reasons. I am on my computer, on my phone, going through my Instagram, going through it, and then I like this, then I click, and then take me to another site, and I start seeing things not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rest assured, your salah is gone. If you have not prayed your salah yet, it's gone. Or you will not wake up for Fajr. And they say, why? What did I do? Because we don't pay attention to these things. Your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very easy defined because it is what He told me to do and what He told me don't do. And in a very famous hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, it's a hadith Qudsi, nothing, and I'm just going to share with you the translation. Nothing will bring the servant, my servant, Allah is saying this, closer to me than what I made obligation on him or her. So I want to get close to Allah spiritually, so my good deed basket gets heavy, so Allah will reward me in this life, a good wellness, life full of wellness. By the way, wellness doesn't mean you have everything you want. Wellness doesn't mean you're not sick. Wellness doesn't mean you will not fail. Then we are living in the la la land, because that's not life. Wellness means when I don't have anything I want. This day is, everything is not what I was planning to, but I still feel good. And I take it as it comes, with patience, with perseverance, with planning, in a way to immediately change it, immediately take it and say, how will I change it? You're living in wellness. But this will not come from me and you only. Can't be. We're a human being. Human being is weak. So your relationship with Allah, that basket needs the following. Everything He told me, obligations. Now comes to prayer, fasting, zakah if you work, of course hijab, of course excellent treatment to the parents, and the don'ts. Don't backbite, don't look at haram, what you dress, don't engage in haram activities, all these. That wellness, that relationship, the beauty of this part, please give me your heart, not only your ears. The first part is me and myself, needs a lot of work, and I don't see the result quickly. When I do an exercise, I'm not going to lose 10 pounds next day. I would love to, but that's not the case. No. And even when my patients talk to me, I was like, no, you gained it over all these years. You're not going to say kun fayakun. It's only Allah who will do that. So it will take a month or two, sometimes a year. The relationship with Allah is the other way around. Because it is Him who He's responding, not me. And He said it also in another hadith. So I really want to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I really want. I want it. I just don't know how much I need to do. So I'm going to say, you know what? Let's take it easy. I'm just going to work on my salah. That's how I can do now. And we'll take it step by step. And when people talk to me, I always thought, this is perfect. Just take one thing, and work on it. So I start working on my salah. It's becoming a priority. I will not miss my salah, period. You do this a day or a two or a three. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha, 1 or 2 or 3. And you see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start giving you other things. Because He said it in another hadith. The meaning of, when my servant comes to me walking, I come running. And I'm sure some of you, a good number of you probably know this hadith. And you say, how Allah is going to come running? Astaghfirullah, how Allah will run? And this is really a good, valid question. This is how He comes running, not physical, not the way you and I perceive it. No, basically, the difficult good deed becomes easy. The things that was so far away becomes nearby. I always wanted a good Muslim friend. I always wanted. I never found them. You start doing this with Allah, He starts sending you. So your relationship with Allah, work on that middle one and start one by one with a lot of dua. Dua, supplication, ask, cry. And I'm not going to say ask, I'm going to say cry. You know, when we lose something, when we don't get something, or when we get so scared of something and we start crying, when we get stressed out and cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, Ya Allah, I really want to come close to you. I really want to live this good life you're talking about. You saying it in your book. I just don't know how to do that. See what He will open to you. Last, because again, I don't want to remind me about the time, because I don't know where are we in the time. Ya Khadija or Ya Third part, is the biggest problem, is the relationship between you and the other people. Each one of you listening to me, I need you to sit down for a second, and just for a second, throw your phone away for a second. Nothing is going to happen, right? And then I want you to think or write down, depends how you think. Who are the people in your life? Who are they? Parents, siblings, children, spouse, friends, co-workers. That's basically who they are. And again, the circle could be small, the circle could be big. Look at these people around you. Remember the wellness you want to live. This is 1/3 of the wellness. I do my obligations toward them. It doesn't matter what they do. I'm not doing it for them. Learn this. Remember why and how. Why I am treating them well or giving them their rights, not because they don't deserve it or they deserve it. I'm doing it for Allah. And I want to live well. And when I do this, I will get this. Because Allah says in the Quran, I started my talk by saying, this is a conditional statement. You do, you get. So look at around you. Parents, siblings, brothers and sisters, friends, co-workers, spouse, and children. It depends, where are you in your life? What is their rights upon you? Don't say, what is my right? That's not going to get you to the wellness. What rights they have upon me? And I will do it not for them. I will do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will live wellness, good life. And the reason I'm saying this is because when you read the life of the other people, the people before us, or for example, even when you read the seerah, I'm sure many of you have read the seerah or listened to the seerah, and you wonder, how can Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, what kind of human beings they were, right? And then you'll say, well, this is Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Tayyib, the Sahaba, the companions, they were all non-believers. And then how did they take all these things well? Well, because they looked at everything in their lives. And this is what I want every one of you. And look at my hand. There's a circle here. And that circle is a lens. Everything in my life, I do or I don't. I say or I don't. I love or I hate. I want or I don't want. Has to go through this circle. And this circle is it pleasing to Allah? Is it pleasing to Allah? When I text, when I post, when I take a selfie, when I don't like the way I look or when I like the way I look, is that pleasing to Allah? Learn, all of you, to bring this into your life. You know how much we focus on people? We get so upset when this person say that, or that person doesn't say that, or she loves me, or she hates me. Remove that and replace it with only one, the one and only. The one and only, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you start moving everything in your life, your parents, and you're going to say to yourself, there is no wellness in this life. No wellness in this life if I don't treat my parents well. You can claim what you want to claim and you can say what you want to say. It is not going to happen, period, unless I treat them well. And not because they treat me well, because that's what Allah said, the lens, because that's what He said. So if they were nice, it's easier. They're nice. What is the issue? Easy. I give my mom a hug. Of course, I love her. The harder one, if they are not nice, and subhanAllah, there is, but I'm still going to treat them well for my own wellness. I'll give you an example And this is going to probably, inshallah, make you feel it. And this is a story I was told by a very dear friend of mine. Her story. This is a woman, loves Allah, made a covenant that she's going to Jannah, period. She says, I'm going to go to Jannah, whatever it takes, I'll do it. There's people like that. So she's married, a difficult husband. SubhanAllah, reality. She is very clean, very organized. So when the husband wants to upset her, look what he does. Goes to the kitchen, gets a fryer, put it on the stove, put a hot oil in it, boiling, then brings it, don't worry, he doesn't throw it on her. No. No, don't. I can see it in your faces. No. He brings it under the faucet and he opens the water on it, and the whole oil, what will happen? It will splash. So she needs to go and clean. She's a very clean woman. Look at her response. Look at her response. Now, this is a test of wellness. This is a test of wellness. Can I take this? Will I get upset? Of course I'll get upset. Nobody will not get upset unless you have no emotions. But how do you respond to your feelings? That's where wellness is. And she said to him, and she starts cleaning. And he said, you're not upset? She said, I'm not happy. But no one will take Jannah from me. Meaning, I'm not going to respond in a way to take my Jannah from me. That's how she lives in wellness. Because anybody else will say, what is this? Now, we're not talking about she's living with him, why she's staying. That's a different story. I'm just giving you, when you go through a moment, when somebody, the person around you, and doesn't matter who that person is, gets on your nerves, intentionally or unintentionally, subhanallah, don't forget the lens. Everything has to go through this, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are like this woman, focused on your Jannah, like you want Jannah in Dunya. And I always say this to myself, I want Jannah in Dunya, but I want Jannah in Akhirah. I want the best house here. Well, I want even better house there. I want the best neighbors here. I want Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam as my neighbor. So think of that. Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha. Good deed is you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you and the people. I didn't go to the details of everything. I wanted to give you just an overall wellness idea. And the last thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this in Surah Taha, the opposite. What makes my life miserable? Exactly the opposite. And Allah said, Man a'rada an dhikri, فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. Another condition, and this is in Surah Taha, whomsoever stay away, turn their back, leave, remove, all these you can use it as translation, and dhikri, my remembrance, Allah's remembrance. What will happen? That's the condition. فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. He will live a constrictive life. Opposite wellness, constrictive life. People who live constrictive, tough, hard, unhappy life doesn't mean they don't have things, by the way. And you all have heard all these people who have everything, fame, wealth, you know what, we hear it every single day, and then they commit suicide. Why? They're miserable. Why? And then you go and see somebody who has basically the minimum things needed in life, and you talk to them and say, Alhamdulillah, never been better. It's like, Ya Rabbi, how is that? Man a'rada an dhikri, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make him part of your life. And the remembrance of Allah is many ways, Alhamdulillah. That's part of his rahmah, part of his mercy, loving mercy, that he gave us options. Salah, praying, is remembrance of Allah. Reading Quran, remembrance of Allah. Listening to Quran, remembrance of Allah. This together, listening to this, honestly, discussing this is remembrance of Allah. What did we spoke for the last, 30, 40 minutes? It's all about Allah. So when you sit together, because especially youth, I was like, Sister Haifaa, we're going to keep talking about Allah and giving lectures. This life is going to be difficult. And I was like, no, this is not the reality. Reality is when I'm sitting with my friends and we have fun, we're human beings, drinking coffee, tea, whatever you like, right? Make sure there is in that conversation two things. There is no disobedience to Allah, and mention His name. One thing. So instead of saying, wow, I'm sorry, nothing to do with the title of the retreat, but you say, Subhanallah, you mentioned Allah. That's dhikr. And then when I ask you, I was like, how are you doing? Fine. And I say, what does fine mean? I always tease people. I was like, what does fine mean? They look at me. I was like, you know English? I was like, of course I do. It's Alhamdulillah. Then you are remembering Allah. Did you get my point? You always bring Him part of your life. The last thing I will end. The last thing I want to end. And this is for all, I don't know who's listening to me, age-wise, young or old, or both, or not very young and not very old. We are different. We are created different. We are chosen different. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. You were the best nation that were brought forth to people. We're different. And we are different because He chose us to be different. He, the lens. Don't throw this difference and try to be like everybody else. That's when we become miserable. And that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Subhanallah, even the non-Muslim, even those who doesn't believe. I was just listening to one of the famous women saying something. And they said, what do you say to the young people, young girls looking at you? You know what she said? This is a non-Muslim. She said, believe in who you are and who you were born. Because that's the best thing for you. This is a non-Muslim person. He created you a Muslim. He created you with a dark skin. He created you with a fair skin. He created you tall. He created you short. Anyway, as He taught us, when you look at yourself at the mirror, and what's the dua? What I'm supposed to say? I don't like the way I look. I wish I'm taller. I'm shorter. I wish my eyes were green. That's not what He said. The dua is, oh Allah, like you beautified me externally, beautify me internally. This is a statement saying, Ya Allah, I'm beautiful because you created me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi Ameen, shower us and make us all live life of hayatan tayyibah, life of wellness in all the aspects, internally and externally. May He subhanahu wa ta'ala make us know and make us grateful to everything He gave us. May He forgive our shortcomings, and He, Ya Rabbi, forgive our ignorance and forgive our short sight that we look at only what we don't have or what other people have, and we don't feel the ni'mah, the blessing You gave us. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi tasliman kathira. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah reward you and may Allah put barakah in all your efforts.
Jazakallah khairan so much for that enlightening presentation, Sister Haifaa. I personally can walk away with so much inspiration now, and I'm sure our audience feels the same. So I actually do have 2 questions to share from you from the audience. Let me just pull it up.
Please do.
Okay, question 1.
Yes.
How can we have the dunya in our hand and not in our heart?
Good question. The person knows the hadith of Rasul. It's a dua actually he used to make. Allahumma ja'al dunya fi aydina wa la taj'al dunya fi qulubina. Ya Allah, make dunya in my hand, but don't make it in my heart. Give you a simple example. What is dunya? Dunya is al-mal wal-banun, wealth and children. For us women, you want to be successful in your career, you have money, you want to have children, you want to have a happy marriage, right? In my hand, let's say you wanted this beautiful ring. And guess what? You had the ring. this ring is dunya. So when the ring is not literally in my hand, but even when I'm not wearing it, when in fact I live in my hand, not in my heart, two things. Number one, I know it is not mine. I know it is the real owner of everything I have is Allah. We don't own anything because when we die, nothing comes with us. Number two, the sign that the dunya is not in your heart, but in your hand, meaning you have it, you have the ring, but the ring is not in your heart, is what happens when you lose it. If your response, قدر الله ما شاء فعل, Allah has decree, and whatever Allah decree will happen, you live in wellness. If you are not, if the ring is in your heart, you're so attached to it, it's the end of the world when you lose it. You start blaming whoever, including yourself. People cry and feel down and depression, and you don't know, it has sentimental value, and you don't know how much it, all these, I call it to myself, excuses. The reality is you are attached to it. You are attached to this material thing, whatever the value of that material thing. That means the dunya is in your heart. You have it or you don't have it. It doesn't matter. Then it is in your hand, not in your heart.
Jazakallah khairan, Sister Haifa. I think that was such an amazing explanation for what it means to have our dunya in our heart, right? And our final question for today, I believe our final question, you recently did a talk on the modern role of women.
Yes.
And taking examples of the Sahabiyat, may Allah be pleased with them, and bringing it to this time. What is the best tip for women to implement their examples?
Very good question. Indeed, I did it 3 weeks ago, and subhanAllah, it had a lot of people reached out to me after the talk. It was a whole day seminar about womanhood defined. So the speakers before me, may Allah reward them all, we were all women. They covered Sayyidah Asiya, Sayyidah Maryam, Sayyidah Khadija, and Sayyidah Fatima. And then I came and I said, okay, who are we as a Muslim woman? You take all this. I can't be Sayyidah Fatima literally these days. I can't be Sayyidah Khadija. I'm not a Sayyidah Khadija. My husband is not a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And I wish I'll die, but it's not. But that doesn't mean I can't be like a Sayyidah Khadija. So I take some of her qualities, or a Sayyidah Fatima, or a Sayyidah Aisha. So what is the qualities? Sayyidah Khadija, when you give one sentence and you say the supportive wife. The wife that not only support, sacrificed. The rich wife who gave her husband everything. Sayyidah Aisha, the childless mother. No children. Look at women these days. If they don't have children, they think it's the end of the world and they go through anxiety and depression. And I say, I see this in my office. And I said, subhanAllah, Sayyidah Aisha, the most beloved and the youngest wife of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah decreed that she doesn't have children. Have we ever asked why? But what was she? Everyone knows Sayyidah Aisha. What was she? You take from her her strength, her personality, her education, and her devotion. You take that part. Take Sayyidah Fatima, the daughter, the love, the unconditional love to her father. This is how you are. You need to learn about them. And I always say this to myself and all to the women. Which one you see yourself, you? Are you character-wise Sayyidah Aisha or Sayyidah Khadija? Or maybe you're Sayyidah Maryam, Qanita. Allah created us differently, but you may basically identify yourself with one of these women. Bring the character, not the situations, but the character. And rest assured, what they were tested, we are tested these days. We were tested. They were and we are. And how do you respond? And that's how you are. And I will end up with this. This day and age is very challenging. It's very difficult. Subhanallah. And I always say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm so grateful I did not grow up in this day and age. It's very challenging. There's a lot of factors that are working against women, Muslims, the identity, all these things that we did not have it when I was growing up. However, no one will make things easy except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't forget ad-dua. Ad-dua. And talk to him in your language. You don't have to memorize all these pages and you don't know what they really mean. Ask him. Make it easy. Make me a good Muslimah. Give me dunya, ya Allah. Give it to me. But don't bring it to my, don't let it come to my heart. Let me live hayatan tayyibah. Show me how I do it. Ask him. إنه سميع قريب. إن ربي سميع. إن ربي رحيم ودود. Sayyidina Hud said that my Lord is all merciful, all loving and loved to be loved. And سميع قريب. He is close, he's near, and he is all hearing. Ya Rabbi Ameen.
Jazakallah khairan for answering that question as well. If anybody on here wants to give us a quick reflection, or anybody watching through the Facebook Live, put any reflections, any gems you have from everything that was said today into the chat pod, inshallah. It would really be beneficial for us all. Like Sister Haifa said, it's always important to connect, because without connecting, we wouldn't have anything, right? So yes, Sister Ithu.
SubhanAllah, I just want to obviously just say Jazakallah khairan to Dr. Haifa and to everyone who's joined us today. SubhanAllah, what really resonated with me was when you mentioned the hadith about taking a step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and him running towards you. I cannot remember, like 2 years ago, before the onset of COVID, I was not, SubhanAllah, I just was not in the practicing state that I am now, SubhanAllah. And all I did was exactly what you said, was just try to hold on to the salah. I would pray whenever, like I and Allah made it easier and easier, exactly how you testified. He made it easier and easier to the point where I felt anxiety when I didn't pray. And I never used to feel that before, SubhanAllah. And then slowly but surely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed the toxic relationships and started to bring in people of the Quran, sisters of learning, sisters of knowledge, put me in areas and in environments where I could learn more about the deen. And I think you had a talk, subhanAllah, that talked about, I think it was called, if Allah loves you, he'll give you knowledge of the deen, or something along that. Since
yes.
Yeah, so I think I just want to testify for the sisters listening out there, young and old, who are struggling. Like you said, it's so difficult for us to, subhanAllah, juggle all of our roles and also try to be a good Muslimah, right? And really, truly, if you are sincere and you want to get closer to Allah, Allah will not deprive you of that closeness in that relationship. I truly believe that. And not only will Allah not deprive you of that, but Allah will make it easy for you, but you just have to strive. And I'll finish by saying, subhanAllah, I watched a very a beloved imam to me talk about how even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala required some effort from Sayyidah Maryam when she was giving birth and wanted to get the dates, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded her to shake the tree. And she was in such a state of, subhanAllah, she's giving birth and she's panicking and she's worried about what her community say, but Allah still asked her to shake the tree to get the fruits and the provision. And when I thought about that, I'm like, who am I? Like, I am not even close to remotely, in that situation of duress, but subhanAllah, I can make the effort, So I think all of us, inshallah, just need to try and ask Allah to give us the tawfiq, grant us the tawfiq and the ability to try and to worship him. And alhamdulillah, I just wanted to say that really resonated with me. So
Jazakallahu khair, mashallah, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, ya rabbi ameen.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say something else too. Before this talk, I was just so anxious, I was so nervous. I was literally I don't know if you can tell from your, but I was literally shaking. But subhanAllah, I don't know, once you started talking, I just got into the zone. It was just, all these anxieties, my heart rate slowed down. Like, it was just such a unique experience, right? And I noticed when you were answering the question, you said you were so happy that you were not born in these times. And honestly, I totally agree with that. Like, I'm not going to defend my generation and this time because there's so much fitna and stuff everywhere, right? Like, I feel like everywhere, I feel like I have a question now. Everywhere I turn, there's like more shirk and like there's a new problem. And, you know, and I feel like the youth these days, especially, has, I don't know, they're getting more lost, I feel like. So
you know why? You're so right, Ya Khadija. No, mashallah, you're opening your hearts, all of you. You know why? Because we are further away from the source of peace. This is how I say it. Not only the youth, the environment. The environment, I say this to a lot of my friends. I say, your child, your son or your daughter comes in, and then if they are younger with a report card and they are B or C, right? It's the end of the world in the house. True or false? Or they applied to this college and they didn't get it. Oh, but the child doesn't wake up for Fajr. It's okay, and you know what? You're still young. She's young. They will grow up and change. It's the environment. What I'm talking about is the house environment, the temptations, the internet, the social media, the influence bombarded. The focus is on followers, on numbers, on the look, on me. I can do it. And then suddenly Allah teaches you, unfortunately, not you, but teaches us, unfortunately, the hard way that we can't do it. And if anything, we should have learned from COVID. And unfortunately, a lot of us did not learn that we are not in control. Within a month, he stopped this earth from functioning. You all remember March. The streets are empty, nobody, food dropped on the door, you're washing your hands zillion times, you don't see your family. It's amazing. But what did we learn? What did we change? Unfortunately. And you keep getting it, Omicron and Delta, and Allah knows what is next time, because he keeps sending us. I was like, when these people will wake up? So the reason you felt more relaxed, Ya Khadija, because نحن في ذكر الله, because we're talking about Allah. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Verily, by the remembrance of Allah, the hearts will reach, or the heart will feel serene and happiness and calmness. But we don't have it, unfortunately. But still there is khair. The programs like these is khair, because you're all young and you're doing it, mashallah, alhamdulillah. And we are taking advantage of the internet. Like, people are literally asking me, go and do things in TikTok, give lectures on TikTok, and it's like TikTok. And then you know what? Yeah, because you need to reach people. And if this is going to be a TikTok, you're going to put a good things on TikTok. Alhamdulillah, there is another venue. So use whatever Allah give you, plus the dua, and he will never let you down. And never say, I can do it, and it is me, and I prepared, and I practice. La, Sayyidah Maryam, huzzi, do it. But Allah will make the date fall. If she will shake the tree for a million years, and Allah did not want it, because he said, tusaqit alayki, it's gonna come, meaning he will allow the date to come. Subhanallah.
Jazakallah khairan for, answering my question and giving us more insight. I believe Sister Shaheen has something to say now.
تفضلي يا شاهين.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Haifaa. I was so looking forward to this session. SubhanAllah, I did miss the first part. I have to say I was stuck in traffic, so I will do a replay later. But there was two.
Where are you joining us, Shaheen, from?
Oh, I'm in Toronto. I'm with the Nisa helpline team, by the way. So alhamdulillah. But two things that you mentioned that really struck me, and I felt that I really needed to hear this today, is one, when you said, don't take my Jannah. And when you reflect on it like that, it's something so miraculous that you don't want others to take from you, right? And you just want to like hold on to it, right? And I feel like what you're sharing today, it just demonstrates all these tips and reminders that are relevant in this dunya that inshallah will help us to hold on to our Jannah. So may Allah reunite us all in the highest of Jannah. I mean, and another thing that you said that I feel really just brought down to the relevance of this dunya again, inshallah, for our akhirah, is the question that came up regarding the sahabiyats, where you were giving us just relevant reminders of the characteristics of each one and how we can truly relate and identify ourselves. Because I feel like, you know, when you bring it down to the relevance, that it really helps us to recognize them. Whereas at times when, you know, in my times when we were listening to our lectures, we knew it's hardcore, you listen to them, right? But as you said, now there's like TikTok, there's online, there's all of this. So subhanAllah, just to hear it in that context, it gave me the reminder that I needed to hear today. And I'm encouraging myself and others to really go back and you know, learn more about the sahabiyats, about our amazing faith, about the prophets, because we have such amazing womanhood. And I feel that we can definitely draw some great lessons to be inspired in terms of the legacy that we want to leave behind, inshallah.
That's a very good point, Ya Shaheen. I want to add just one thing. Anything you learn, all of you and everybody who's listening to me, there has to be a question comes in. What does that mean to me as a woman living in Toronto or in St. Louis or in India or in Pakistan in this day and age? What does this mean to me? This is where we went, I will say, far. When I read the verse from the Quran, I don't say, what does this mean to me now? How I'm going to do it? And I think if you keep asking yourself this question, every lecture, every book you read, every advice, every clip, and you say, wow, this is nice. Okay, good. But how are you going to apply it? How are you going to change your life with it? That's when we will start seeing the effect, bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan.
Iyaakum.
Once again, I want to say Jazakallah khairan to Sister Haifa for coming here and answering our questions and, you know, delivering us that beautiful talk, mashallah. It was honestly an amazing pleasure to host you this evening. Barakallahu fiki. So we are drawing now to the end of our session. I would like to thank you all for joining this session. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that our talk be beneficial to everyone. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And finally, before we sign off, please stay tuned with us because we will be having another session right after this one. And you do not want to miss it, inshallah. We will be hosting Sister Maryam, who will be guiding our paint nut for us. So stay tuned if you want to create some beautiful art, inshallah. Finally, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can always stay up to date and be notified when we have more exciting and insightful programs and sessions coming up. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.